Well, welcome, it's Mike here in Tokyo, Japan. Now today's video, I want to give you some tips here. I want to try and help you if you're a foreigner like me from Australia, wherever you're from, and you're coming to Japan for the first time. I've got these 6 tips. Number 1 is the Suica card. Okay, everybody in Japan has one of these. It's like a credit card. You come here and you buy it first day in the train station. You put it into the ATM and you put cash into it, depending on how long you're going to be here and how many train trips you think you're going to do. So put cash into it. It's a tap and go card. You use it on entrances into the subways, and it'll work on all the trains, subways, buses, monorails and ferries. You can even use it on vending machines and in the convenience stores. Fabulous. You simply can't do a trip around a place like Tokyo without a Suica card. Number 2 is the SIM card for your phone. Tokyo, for instance, is such a big city that you don't want to be hunting around looking for Wi-Fi connections at different hotels and restaurants. There's too much to see, too much to do here. So yeah, I strongly advise getting a SIM card for your phone. Number 3 is the Japan Rail Pass. Now this is a little bit determined on how long your trip to Japan will be and where you're going. If you're coming just to Japan and you only plan on going to Tokyo or maybe one other city, well then maybe the Japan Rail Pass is not an essential item for you. However, if you're coming to Japan for an extended time and you plan on going to multiple cities, like I did a month, right around Japan, multiple cities, it proved to me to be very good because the Japan Rail Pass is unlimited travel. Okay, you can use it as many times as you want. You can use it on the Shinkansen bullet trains, which are the trains you will want to use when you go to different cities all around Japan. You will want to be on the bullet train. They're the fastest. They do 320 kilometers an hour. They're fantastic. But the JR Rail Pass can also be used on the local trains, the buses and the ferries. Now me personally, 1 month there, I bought the 21-day pass. The 21-day JR pass, it costs 100,000 yen, okay? But it was worth it because I used the bullet train many times. If you bought them individually, each time it would have cost me more money. Now number 4 is cash. Now, believe it or not, Japan is still very heavily cash. Many of the retailers still prefer cash than credit cards. In fact, some that I spoke to didn't want to use credit cards at all. I did my transaction back in Australia when I did the currency exchange, and I got a better rate back in Australia. But I brought quite a substantial amount of money in yen, which I found to be very good. And it just saved me on international transaction fees for the credit cards and etc. Number 5 is the adapter, the travel adapter. It's the type A, the same one as the United States of America. So that was easy. And number 6, Japan is such a great place to visit. The cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Yokohama, they're big, big cities, and you will be doing a lot of walking. So I can't stress this enough. You must bring good quality walking shoes because you will be walking a lot, and you'll be using the trains, and you will be going in the subways, and there's a lot of stairs. There's a lot of stairs and a lot of massive train stations to walk through trying to find your connecting trains. So yeah, I strongly advise you spend time on getting comfortable walking shoes. Now I also want to talk to you about the food, where you can buy food in the train stations, believe it or not. A lot of the train stations are massive. They're like small cities, and the Japanese go in there after work and pick up their dinner for that night. So I want to show you that. Also, I want to show you how I managed the train stations underground and the troubles I did have because of a foreigner not knowing where to go. There were problems. So people can get off the train and come into places like this inside the railway station. Right, we're inside, and there's all these food stalls, and these people here eat fish standing up. They're eating their Japanese meals and they stand up eating. These over here are sitting down eating a different type of meal. So it's got a supermarket, it's got everything in here. They just walk in from work on the train. We're in the central station here of Shinjuku, and you can just buy your dinner here. You can either buy it and take it home or stand up and eat it in the other areas. It is just amazing how well organised everything is here. Everything's prepared. Everything's prepared here. So I walk out of here and I'm back into the grind of the railway station. And I'm looking for the east gate so I can get out of the right gate because it's such a massive train station. It's the biggest train station in Tokyo. So you've got to get out the right gate, or else once you get outside you're lost. So half the battle is trying to find the right gate to get out of this place. You can see there's nothing up there that says East Gate. East Gate this way. That's the West Gate. Oh gee, so what's this one? Yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh, I'll have to try it, I suppose. But, now I'm back on the platform here. So let's take me back up onto the platform. Oh, it's such a massive place. You've got to be concentrating all the time. You're continually looking for signboards. And there's so many of them too. East Gate. East Gate. So when you're coming out of the airport, you've got to use your card, your Suica card, to get yourself out of here, and you've got to go through these like this. And I just got charged 199 yen for that last trip. It puts the fee up on the board. So I'm out of the actual area where you can catch the train. I'm on the outside of that. But now I'm looking for the east gate again, east exit. East concourse. Exit. Well, I've got to take this exit. This will bring me up on the ground level, hopefully. So I've had trouble getting out of here. That's the east gate. Trying to find my way back to the hotel. Because I've had all sorts of trouble with GPS on walking speed, giving me accurate directions. I'll have to start again. I'll have to start up GPS again. Now I'm just walking down here. It seems to be okay with me walking down here. But I cannot remember. I come through here, say 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I cannot, at night time like this, I cannot remember anything. It looks totally different at night with thousands of people around, music blaring. It's just, nothing is recognisable. Right, well there's a family mart that's come up on the screen here. So I might be making progress here. Showgirls. Yeah, they want me to go in to see the showgirls there. So that's nice of them. So yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to find my way back to the hotel and I was using Google Maps. I had a lot of trouble with it, not just this time, all the time in Japan. Whether it was under the ground, deep under the ground, in the underground train stations, or above the ground, amongst the skyscrapers, it was just very inaccurate. It would tell you to go right and you had to go left. So that was a frustrating part. That was probably one of the real frustrations, to be honest with you, about travelling through Japan. Anyway, I hope I've given you some strong tips there on, as a foreigner coming to Japan, especially a big city like Tokyo. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.